What does cinematic mean? It seems to be thrown around so much these days. It's the buzzword, and I'm guilty of it. I've been guilty of it for 2 years, though, because I've been obsessed with film and cinematography, and I've been trying to pull that into my photography work before getting sucked into using it in video myself. So, to me, it's definitely not drone footage all the time. It's not hyper slow-mo all the time. Those have their place. It's about being intentional. It's a single word to me, and that is intent. The intent of what you have done to carry the story across and forward. It is the combination of the use of 5 elements: shot size, shot angle, framing and composition, lighting, and depth of field. A combination of those, to me, creates a scene, whether it's a still or it's part of multiple scenes to become a film. Those are the 5 main elements. And then later you throw in how and where you position audio to complement the imagery. But we'll talk about that another time. The point is, it's those 5 elements to me in combination which create a cinematic photo or video if the intent of what the artist is trying to put across is justified, if it communicates the story. It's how it's used to communicate the story. Now, my focus is not just on the how, my focus is on the why. And I think that's very important. That's where I like to play. So before and after the actual technical shooting is what matters to me and interests me the most, to be honest, right? It's thinking about what combination of those 5 elements will contribute to the mood, contribute to the story, and create the atmosphere that you want. Now, there's an element of balance and taste that comes into it as well. Because once you've established your framing and blah, 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 how you're going to shoot this thing, when it comes time to decide on how much of dynamic range you're going to use, how bright you're going to make a scene, or in post, what color grading you use, it all comes down to balance. And why I say that is, in technical photography, which I was quite influenced by because of the club and competition background, there's certain elements that they look for, but I was inspired by film, which throws most of those elements away. And things like, I'll use an example. I've been watching Yellowstone, the series about cowboys, and they're always wearing hats, and when they're in the bright sun, stuff is blown out. It's going to happen in bright sun. They live from above. The sun's above them most of the time. So a shadow falls over their eyes. Now, where the balance comes in is, yes, you'll probably put some bounce in or use the floor as bounce to light up their face, but it's overdoing it that then takes you from that balance of fantasy and reality into something that's completely unrealistic, and then doesn't make sense. It doesn't feel homogeneous. It doesn't feel cohesive. And I think for me, being sort of motivated by reality to create a fantasy world is what it's all about in film and in cinema. So I'm going to talk a lot about how I justify, why I justify certain choices I make by tearing apart my photos and other videos and stuff, why I did what I did, and also taking inspiration from some of the great cinematographers and explaining why I think they did what they did. And hopefully you will take that into your work so that this word cinematic has more meaning than just something that's being thrown around right now to, I don't know, capture people. As with most things on social media, it's going to die. It'll be thrown around for a while, and then suddenly people are not going to want or care about being cinematic anymore. So if I can give you one word that's attached to the term cinematic, it's intent. Be intentional about what you do, and that is what will define whether the work is cinematic or not. I just realized I didn't talk too much about the intention of this scene right here. Everything I chose in this scene is intentional. Now, it's pointless me telling you, or you trying to copy the exact f-stop that I used or the exact exposure that I used. I could tell you I exposed in a certain band because that's what fits my taste. It's more central and low, underexposed than I think what typically people would do, but that's just my preference. The point is, I chose the depth of field I did because I want to keep myself clear. I want enough depth of field to be able to use manual focus and move around a little bit, but at the same time, create some separation to the background. But here's the thing that I think is a pet peeve of mine, is not too much separation. That's been done in a lot of photography where there's too much of full flash. It's there just enough to keep your attention on me as the focal point, but you to be able to decipher what's in the background, because what's in the background is very intentional. Those items tell you a small story about me. It tells you a bit of who I am and what I do. And the lighting was actually rather sarcastic. Sarcastic, is that the word? It was to make a mockery of what the formula has become. Throw teal and orange, blue and yellow into a scene with some LED lights and a lamp in the background, or some sort of other bokeh light to do it, and that's a YouTube video. And I was kind of making a mockery of that, and also maybe playing to my insecurity that I can actually do that. But the point was, everything I did, and throwing in the smoke as well to be all dramatic and catch the light, so there's stuff for the light to bounce off. The point is that it was intentional. And I think if there's anything I want you to take away from this, it's to be very intentional with what you do, whether it's to be sarcastic or to motivate where the light's coming from or what have you. Be intentional.